Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villian Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla Hour, Broseph Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and M-Maniacs. The nightly shows are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports, Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle Podcast, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, Off the Rails, and Detroit Lions News. Hope you like all the shows. Make sure you follow, like, share.
Hey, my name is Ray Flores. I'm a proud and loyal member of the First and 10 Tailgate. You're listening to First and 10 with my man, the main man, Foz.
First and 10 with Foz, Chicago Bears in the midst. Rapping about football, no room for politics. From the Windy City, we bring the fire. This podcast hot, raising the bar higher. Touchdown after touchdown, we never settle for less. Breaking it down with Foz, we always bring our best. First and 10 with Foz, dance in the crowd, cheering loud and proud. Our spirits never bow. We rep that navy, blue and orange, no room for doubt. Chicago Bears legendary, no team can knock us out. No team can knock us out.
When I'm in Chicago, always a Foz.
For display. Hitting hard like a linebacker, making our way. Foz leading the charge, taking us to the top. Chicago Bears legacy, we can never.
So what do you want to do now?
Want to get drunk?
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 55 as Disgruntled Bears Fans with Foz and Maxwell. We're changing the name of the show now. Maxwell, how are we doing tonight, sir?
It's all a joke, and mother forgive me.
Maxwell caught the plague watching the Bears game, so he's at home tonight. They're resurrecting old viruses now during the Bears games. So.
Yeah, bubonic plague or something.
The bubonic plague is back. He's the first white man to get sickle cell from the Bears game.
No doubt about it.
Oh, man. How horrible, bro. How horrible was that game on Sunday, my friend?
I mean, it was even on my mom's birthday. It was so bad that we turned it off. We flipped over to the other game, the Washington game, because it was so pathetic. It was just pathetic. It wasn't even bad. It was just depressing, and I was ashamed.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover tonight, a lot of crying, a lot of bitching, a lot of rants to go on about a lot of things. So hope you guys are ready for a very angry, emotional segment of First and 10 with Foz tonight, because it's coming your way. This Disgruntled Bears Fan podcast is brought to you by the one and only Bedrocks.
Bedrock's Pizza, the place to be. Hard rock tunes and craft beers for the crowd is roaring, the atmosphere's hot. We'll party hard, give it all we've got. This place is our sanctuary. Shout it aloud, let the music play. Bedrock's Pizza, we're here to stay. Good times.
right, guys, before we get into the many, many negative things we have to talk about tonight, let's start with some positive things. One is Caleb Cares. You guys have been doing amazing, donating towards the raffle for all the random Bears gear that I've been raffling off. Almost $600 in the last week has been collected towards the charity. Thank you guys so much. Completely awesome. Means the world to me. Anti-bullying, suicide awareness, ESF, it's all down the same message. So appreciate you guys doing that. This weekend, we have the birthday fat tailgate with Andy, Beer Mysterio, and my boy El Campeon. Doing the Bears Packers this Sunday, 7 a.m. We have never lost a tailgate in 3 years, that I assure you. We are undefeated in the tailgate. So the big difference this year is there is no prepay for this week. So there's no more PayPal. So it's going to be preferably cash only when you guys show up to get a wristband. There might be a Zelle if you don't have cash available. That's still a possibility. But if you can, please show up with cash. After this weekend, we prepare for the Vikings. And as we do that, we have a ton of Vikings friends and family coming in from Minnesota. One of the groups we're tightest with throughout the NFL is the Vikings and Detroit. So we get a lot of traveling fans coming through 1st and 10. We're going to be doing a Southside Pizza Chicago-style meet and greet at the McKinley Legion Hall. That's going to be that November 23rd from 2 to 6 p.m. So anyone wants to come up and meet up with some 1st and 10, some Vikings, VWO fans, and have a good time, that's going to be the place to be. As we prepare going on, I'm still mentioning every episode, December 8th at Bedrocks. More details are coming up in the next couple of weeks, so just make sure to save it on your calendar. Foz and Maxwell live at Bedrocks. All right, getting into that fucking game, Max. Let's just try and start with some excuse for what happened. The injury list going into the week, which is full of nothing but key offensive and defensive players to protect the ball. So we get to start with that. Obviously, Tevin Jenkins went out during the game. Mm-hmm. No one in this entire list played a key factor. There was no key factors, actually, for the game. No. It was a 3-hour disgusting fucking punt fest, dude. And I didn't realize what I was watching until it was over with. You know, you were kind of just waiting for that shoe to drop, something to happen, and it never did. There was no turning point. It was just nonstop 3 and outs and kicks. And I don't know about for you, Maxwell, but it was probably the worst Bears game I can remember watching. Maybe that Thursday night Commanders game a couple of years ago I put up there with this as one of the worst games I've seen. But but this was just uncalled for.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots team is really, really bad. I mean, there's just no debating it. Like, I don't care how big of a fan the Patriots are. They're pathetic. And that defense is not good. No. And they came out there and sacked this poor prick 9 times with a makeshift offensive line. A name you didn't have on your list there that wasn't on the injury report was Nate Davis.
Yeah.
Who, at game time decided he had a back problem and didn't play. So they sent him home. So then you're down. I think they were down to just 5 offensive linemen for the whole game, or 6 for the whole game.
Yeah.
After Tevin Jenkins went down, then Doug Kramer came in. That was it.
Yeah, that was it. So.
It was just one. It wasn't even like a problem, or like it was just so disgraceful. Like no one had any interest in playing football. Not one person on the field, other than maybe TJ Edwards, had any interest in playing football for the entire day. Right. It was really pathetic to just sit and watch.
The Patriots set franchise records, dude. Now, when you say that, we're talking about the Patriots here. We're talking about 6-time Super Bowl winning Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, like destroying teams nonstop for almost 2 decades.
Yeah,
they set franchise records during this game with a 2-7 team.
Yes,
a rookie quarterback, a makeshift defense that. Up until the Bears game had done nothing all year. One of the worst defenses in the NFL.
Yes.
We got beat by the worst. We got embarrassed by the worst on our own fucking home turf, man.
Yeah, we're the worst 4-5 team I've ever seen. It's even crazier that I think going into the game, the Patriots as a team had 7 sacks.
Yeah.
They had 9 in the game. 9.
Dude, 20 sacks in 2 games, dude. 20 sacks in 2 games.
This poor, he's getting killed. I mean, it's to the point where now you can't even evaluate him because every time he drops back, he's got pressure in his face instantly. It's constant and it's instant. I don't even know what you do at this point. I mean, we'll get. I know we're going to get into it here in a minute, but it's just so pathetic.
Currently, we're the worst offensive line since 2010 with Jay Cutler, where we were the biggest joke of the league that year about Jay Cutler getting sacked so much. Dude, we're right back there. We're repeating history again this year, dude.
Yes. This feels a lot like the second Trestman year. I mean, all the players sniping at each other, coaches talking to their sources, everyone's pointing fingers left and right. It feels a lot like that same year if you were around for that.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Johnson at the score kind of gave it away without giving it away. He was asked about indirectly players giving their full 100% effort out on the field, and his response was that even a question? Like obviously not. So he didn't name any names. He didn't get too detailed, but you can tell that he's frustrated because Jalen Johnson, number one, is out there every week, given 150% no matter what. So you can tell a lot from that interview on 670 that he's frustrated by the people surrounding him, giving them the bare minimum effort.
Yeah, and he said in practice too, like they're obviously not practicing enough. He hinted that they're not practicing the plays on offense enough during the week. They run a play once, and if it works or doesn't work, they move to the next play. It starts from the top. I mean, it's Matt Eberflus, and I know we're all happy, and we're going to talk about the OC here in a minute, but I mean, he's obviously a piss poor coach, and that's where it all starts.
Well, I mean, we could put it in chronological order because in real life, technical right thing to do, chronological order, Matt Eberflus should have been fired that game right afterwards or Monday morning immediately during the press conference.
I would even argue a week ago after coming off a bye week where you did nothing and you showed nothing, or going to Arizona there. And I mean, they just looked pathetic in Arizona. That was the week to fire him because you're coming in and playing a terrible, terrible team here in New England that at least, your interim coach doesn't have to plan against the Packers or the Vikings or the Lions. He could plan for the Patriots and maybe you could scuff out a win and everyone's happy. It should have started right there and there as far as I'm concerned.
Like I said last week, the Bears still fall into this category of doing things the way they've always done them.
Yes.
But dude, you continue down that path even though the way you've always done things has led you to be losers for the last 40 years. So, dude, one of my favorite quotes in the entire world, even having nothing to do with football, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity, dude. And that's exactly what the Bears are doing. They keep on doing the same old scripted routine game plan over and over and over again, and it's just fail after fail after fail. And dude, that all comes down from the top, from McCaskey, dude. It all comes down from ownership, dude, from the people who put the people in place who are doing this currently. It all comes down from them, because when you've changed everyone over the last 40 years except yourself and there's still a problem, you know what the problem is.
This is why I'm coming at you live from a padded room. I mean, I'm not sick. I mean, this is just being a Bears fan. Disgruntled Bears fan indeed. Yeah, of course. We've talked about it already. Like, just because they've never fired a coach midseason, they won't do it. It just doesn't make sense to me. It starts with the McCaskies. There's been reports now that there are other coaches that really wanted that position, but they don't want a coach that's a hard-ass coach, or a coach that has too much power.
Yeah, I mean, it got released today. Chase Daniel released that the Buccaneers' current OC, the Falcons' current OC, and
Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, they all wanted to be offensive coordinators for the Bears this year, and they chose Shane Waldron. Like, you literally picked the poo pebble out of the pile of diamonds. Like, you found it and you picked it, dude. I mean,
because he was the guy who for sure wasn't interested in being a head coach. The other guys were. So it's all a giant power struggle from the top down. Yeah. It starts with McCaskey's not wanting to spend as much money as possible to get the best guy because they don't want someone too in charge. Where's Ryan Poles at too? I mean, I know we all like Ryan Poles because of some of the player moves he's made, but where's he at? Why isn't he out in front of this 3-game losing streak to explain why another OC was fired?
Dude, that was the first thing I said on Monday morning. I don't want to hear that we're doing evaluations from the guy who should be being evaluated himself. Who is evaluating you, dude? Like,
we're
you're
10
come
fucking
tell
weeks
us
into the year.
you're evaluating people? Dude, you're fucking like Helen Keller on the football field. Like, I don't want you fucking evaluating shit. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. What you're doing.
And also, we're 10 to 11 weeks in this year. The evaluation period is over. We were told this was supposed to be a team that's going to win now. Ryan Poles said at the start of the year. What are we evaluating? It's clear this guy is ruining. We're on the point now where we have to start questioning: is Caleb Williams being ruined? We're at this point again, where another quarterback might be getting ruined by a head coach because you kept him a year too long.
The Bears over the last 3 years have made right moves. They didn't do everything 100%. That's what's coming back to bite them. I believe they put a good president, a good GM into place. I really, truly do. They put good players on the field, and they spent money on good players. They did that, but they missed and didn't spend any money on the most important part of all that, which ties it all together, which is the coaching staff, dude. Mm-hmm. You have people out there with handling talent who don't know what to do with the talent that they have, dude. And it's completely obvious by what we're seeing right now. And the veterans who have been on other teams throughout the years and all the success they have, it's not an individual issue.
No, I agree with you. It's just the same old Bears. I feel like we're all broken records here every week. They don't want to, who's in charge of the Bears? Is it Trace Armstrong? Because both OCs that they fired, the head coach and Ryan Poles all have him as their agent. Is he the shadow? Is he the shadow man, the Emperor Palpatine behind the wall that's pulling the strings here?
Dude, I think Trace Armstrong and George McCaskey are playing behind the scenes. Let's make a deal. They're like the fucking Temu shoppers of the NFL. I mean, buy one and get 2 free gifts. Like, dude, it's getting out of control, dude. If you told me that there was a 3-way deal of a reduction made, a contract negotiation, less money made for hiring them all together, I would be zero shocked, dude. Zero shocked.
At this point, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
George McCaskey still has his communion money today, dude.
Absolutely. Still drives that 94 Hyundai. No doubt. And that's the next worry then. They fire Eberflus into this year, and does Poles get the next hire? Is he fired? We're all just so sick of this. We're so sick of it. Like, I'm sick of coming up. Like, I'm running out of descriptives and pejoratives to even describe how upset I am, and I know I have as well. It's to the point where you've completely I don't care. I can't even get mad anymore. You're so mad you don't care. I'd rather be upset about the team losing than not caring, and I just don't care. They don't give a fuck. So why do I?
Dude, you almost, no matter who's out there calling the plays, or if you really step back and look at it, the Bears were kind of a dummy-proof system coming into this system. And this year, you have a phenomenal defense they're so talented in so many different ways through the secondary, the linebackers. We beefed up the line with Sweat, brought in the guy from Seattle. Like, they can almost manage themselves. So let's just stop right there on defense. Defense is good. Mm-hmm. You brought in a punter on special teams who kicks it 60-plus yards, and Cairo Santos, who's not the long yard dog, but he's a pretty consistent kicker. Mm-hmm. So now you got your special teams and your defense completely taken care of. Now you go out there and you grab Keenan Allen, you lock down DJ Moore, you lock down Cole Kmet, you pick up DeAndre Swift, a proven running back. You draft Roma Dunze, a top wide receiver from college at number 9. Now you have all these weapons. All you really have to do at this point is just call non-stupid calls and give the quarterback an opportunity to throw the ball. And the 2 possible things that we could have failed at this year, they happen. The 2 out of the whole dummy-proof system, the 2 possible things that could have gone wrong have gone wrong. And they've shown the complete face of our coaching staff that they're imposters, they're fools, they're shambles.
It's total clown shoes. Yeah, it's a complete clown shoes coaching staff who's been over their heads since Drop City. I mean, Matt Eberflus, great. He's a great defensive guy. You know what? That system's been run since fucking Bill Walsh, and Lovie Smith perfected it when he was here.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing about that, because the defense didn't look that great Sunday. I'm going to be honest with you. They've escaped a lot of the criticism this week because everything's gone on, but They didn't look very good against a very, very bad team. That just came out very one-dimensional, and they boat raced them.
Dude, and we have been talking about this for the last few weeks, man. No matter how good the defense currently is, they're gonna get frustrated with the state of this offense, and it's gonna get portrayed on the field, their frustration, and that's what you're seeing, man. That's why Jalen Johnson's making comments about people not giving 100%. Like, these defensive players, down after down, are going out there killing themselves trying to stop a first down from happening, trying to get a fumble, trying to get an interception, trying to get the ball back to the offense. But you got to ask yourself, when your job on the defense is to get the ball back to the offense,
and you do it, yeah.
And you're giving it to that offense, how really enthralled are you to kill yourself to do that?
I agree with you all the way, and I'm not throwing the defense under the bus like they were the problem. I'm just saying they haven't, if Matt Eberflus's calling card is motivating and calling all these great defensive plays, that hasn't looked very good on display lately either. So I'm just saying as a whole, Matt Eberflus, that was his only calling card. Let's be honest. What else is he good at? He's good at nothing else. Nothing.
Yeah, but dude, the whole defense sucked until we got Montez Sweat.
I don't disagree.
The moment we got Montez Sweat, the defense was good, and Poles got a lot of credit for that. But in reality, we were missing that defensive end. That was a missing puzzle piece to our defense.
Sure.
He came in and made it all click. Matt Eberflus didn't do fucking shit to make that defense any better. That was Montez Sweat coming in and filling the gap of what we were missing in order to put pressure on the quarterback and be the defense we are.
Sure. No, I agree with you, Mike, all the way. I guess what I'm saying is that if that is his only calling card, why is he here? Because all that really should have mattered going into this year was we're going to take Caleb Williams number one. Everyone knew that for a fucking year.
Yeah.
Why didn't we hire an offensive guy to come in here to actually knows how, or somebody with some experience at developing a rookie quarterback? Because it ain't Matt Eberflus, it ain't Shane Waldron.
Well, Shane Waldron was the one who saved Geno Smith's career.
And you know what? There's a lot of stuff that a lot of guys in Seattle said that ain't true at all.
Yes, Smith Najigna came out with those comments, and he said them early on, and they're getting repeated now after we fired them today.
Yes,
so,
yeah,
definitely a lot of bullshit, man.
It's so frustrating that we're here again, and where's even the way out? Because you look at the rest of the schedule as well. I mean, this team's cooked. This year is done. So now like we both have seen, they're saying, well, maybe they should bench Caleb or this or that. But for what? He should be out there playing and developing. Dude, what is sitting him down going to do for anybody? Right now?
Read my rant on Facebook, dude, because I think it's the most asinine, stupid thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Sitting our number one draft pick in a meaningless season when we're trying to develop him and make him a good quarterback, and you want to sit him on the bench. And dude, for all you Bajan callers out there, let me set you straight real fast. Number one, the kid was never fucking drafted in the NFL. The Bears picked him up after the draft, undrafted. Number two, he's been in the NFL as a backup quarterback for 2 years. If he was so fucking great with the drought of NFL quarterbacks around the entire league, why has no team reached out to us to try to get him? So it's like all you people saying, Bajent. Dude, do you know more than 32 teams of professional analysts and scouts and professional football players? Because obviously they must. I mean, because why isn't he starting somewhere else? Why is he making $200,000 fucking dollars like the Bear League minimum? But he's going to come in and be our fucking savior now versus the Green Bay Packers. Like, dude, you're fucking high on mescaline. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like,
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think those people are just dumb. Why
don't we bring Eric Kramer back now? He's mentally healthy now. He could do it. Like, what are we talking? Meatball bullshit here? Like,
it's just so silly. And then the other thing is, well, he's going to get killed out there. Well, this is football. I mean, these guys play. They're tough. If we're worried about that, what are we even playing anybody for? Just sit everybody down and just forfeit the rest of the season. That argument holds no water either. If you didn't want to start him and you wanted to sign the Andy Dalton type to start the year, okay, fine.
No,
but they went in with him as their starter. He's their starter. Let him play.
They made that choice from game one. Now you stick with it, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What is benching him going to do? People are saying, well, his confidence is down. What do you think benching is going to do him for him? It's going to do him wonders.
9 games into his rookie season, the team's not playoff bound whatsoever.
No.
And you're sitting him for what? So Tyson Bagent get some reps? Like, what are we sitting him for?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like maybe these people are like holding on to like that they're going to make the playoffs and make a run like they did last year. That's not happening. This division is a skull fucker. I mean, it's ridiculous how tight it is. We got to play these teams 6 times. We might win one of those games on a miracle.
I said it last week. If we don't beat the New England Patriots, and I'm sticking by it until I'm proven wrong, we are not winning a football game the rest of the season right now, dude. We're not winning a single game, dude. There's no way that with a team that came out the last 2 weeks looking like they did are going to beat the Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Detroit Lions, the Seattle Seahawks, and the San Francisco 49ers. You are not beating any of those teams in the current condition that we are in right now. Now that we fired Shane Waldron, unless it's Thomas Brown. The former coach from the Panthers, who actually locked us into our first pick for the overall pick for Caleb Williams. Now, unless this guy comes out here and just pulls a gold medal out of his ass and like completely fixes the offense, which is a very low percentage of that happening. I mean, is he going to go out there and fix all the injuries on the offensive line? Is he going to magically make these bums be able to block now? Because, I mean, unless he's able to do that, then, dude, there's not going to be too much improvement now that we've gotten rid of Shane Waldron. We literally just fired someone who should have been fired. But that doesn't mean the season's saved whatsoever.
It's not saved. And the best thing that can happen here is this guy realizes, okay, this offensive line is hurt. We appear to have a decent running game, but we don't like using it for some reason. So maybe we could just run big packages, 2 and 3 tight ends at a time. We'll run it at him. They'll run play action off of it. Let Caleb relax a little bit. We know we got some problems here. Instead of trying to run these wide receiver end arounds all the time and 3 wide sets on the outside, running down the field until he gets killed. Let's simplify it as much as possible. Let's tear this thing down to the studs, and let's build him back up instead of worrying about this season sunk. So that's all that matters now is developing him. But the problem with that is the other problem is that these coaches are coaching for their job, so they need to win. So, that's the next problem with keeping Eberflus is he's trying to stay in this job. He's not worried about anything else. So that's a problem too.
Yeah. It's all just so fucked up right now, man.
All right. Good night, everybody.
That's all, guys. Have a good night for those. No, but dude, it's just, if you would have time warmed me back to the beginning of the season, dude, I couldn't even begin to imagine or fathom that we're anywhere close to where we currently are right now.
No.
It's just almost unbelievable, dude. Like I said, like it was almost dummy proof because we were talking about it. We're like, okay, how are the Bears going to fuck this up? And like, we went through everything and we broke everything down. And again, dude, the 2 legs that could possibly collapsed. And here we are today, my friend.
I'm with you. If you tell me we're 4-5, I would tell you, oh man, Caleb got hurt right away and we got Bagent and we're just surviving. Yeah. As it is, it's pretty stunning. It's pretty stunning.
Dude, but you said it earlier, dude. Where the fuck is George McCaskey and where is Kevin Warren, dude? I don't want to hear from Ryan Poles right now.
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear from him because we're talking about hearing from people who we're talking about are sucking at their job and we want them fired. So obviously I don't want to hear from you because your job's on the line. I want to hear from your supervisors what's going on right now because I don't trust a single thing any of these guys say because, like you just said, they're all scrambling for their job right now. They're going to say whatever they can pull out of their ass to try to save their job for the rest of the season.
I don't disagree with you, but we've heard from George McCaskey in the past, and that leads nowhere. So, sure, Kevin Warren to take a bigger hand, maybe, put the stadium thing on the burner for a little bit because that doesn't seem like that's moving anywhere right now. And especially
Kevin Warren was brought in for the new stadium.
I know that.
But Kevin Warren is also in charge of our general manager and our head coach of the team.
Yes.
And that's why he has the power as the president to be able to dismiss those two in these exact situations.
Yes, I agree.
If he wasn't there to manage football, guess what? He wouldn't have that power then. But he does. And that's the reason he has that power for these exact situations when your GM and your head coach are shitting the bed.
I couldn't agree with you more. If he wants to say that Ryan Poles is in charge of football and it's got to be him, that's fine. But then Brian Poles better get out here right away and say, why is Eberflus still here? Why are we firing another offensive coordinator twice in 12 months now? We fired outside coordinator on top of all the other firings and the nasty men that were HR'd out of Hallis Hall too.
The only remaining original coach on Eberflus's staff since he's been here is our offensive line.
Chris Morgan. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
Our
if that
offensive
doesn't
line.
just speak volumes right there and doesn't just like hit home, I don't know what does, dude.
That's the Bearsiest Bears of all Bears.
Dude, I just want to ask the question. Like Ryan Poles, I'm going to give you 25 facts, and we could easily give 25 facts on why this man should be fired and not have a job. Can you give me 3 reasons why this man's not fired and have a? Can you really come up with 3 logical reasons why this man still has a job? Like, I challenge him to that challenge, dude. Like, give me 3 reasons, dude. Because
oh no, he couldn't answer. He would turn into the Ryan Pace. Then he would just hide behind doors and closets. It's all a problem.
I'm drowning in brown tonight, guys. Cheers, okay? Little Tuesday night bourbon for the podcast tonight, man. Need to put the fumes out a little bit.
I understand.
Probably more additional fumes is coming this weekend as we play the game I was looking forward to the most this year, having what we thought was going to be a good team. The first home game versus the Green Bay Packers. Packers are coming in town when we're at our absolute lowest right now of the season, my friend.
Yep.
Going out there with a backup offensive coordinator, a coach with his job on the line, players who are upset, disgruntled, disencouraged, and we got to go play our biggest rival in what's supposed to be our biggest game of the year, dude. This is what Bears fans look forward to, man.
I agree. Especially
Bears season ticket holders and people who go to all the home games, dude. The Bears versus the Packers at home is the game of the season, man. And I don't believe a lot of Bears fans are looking forward to it this much this year. I know I sure am not, my friend.
I hear you, and I feel bad for all the people that go and that were. And I mean, yeah, we were jacked like, hey, maybe this is the year we'll finally shove a little shit down Green Bay's throat for a little while. As Jordan Love's looked okay this year. He's been really good at times, and he's looked a lot like Favre at others with all his interceptions. So it felt like maybe if there ever was a year coming in that we had a shot to finally dethrone Green Bay and stick it in their ass a little bit, it was this year. And unfortunately, that doesn't look very likely at all, unless somebody did say something really funny on Twitter and said that the Bears are just getting ready for the second half where they can go 6-2.
Oh my God, man. And you want to know what? I was going to say that tonight. The most Bearsiest thing in the entire world would be for them to come out next week and just look like the pinnacle, top-notch NFL team in the complete world. Like, that would make complete sense, dude.
Absolutely.
Completely unlogical, great play out of nowhere after they've just, like, 3 games in a row just embarrassed themselves. I mean, it would just make perfect sense, dude. That would be the Bears we all know and love right there.
It would be very Dick Duran era Bears when, like, he was on the hot seat all the time and they'd run off like 5 in a row and they made that playoffs that one year with Jim Miller at quarterback. Yeah. And they said, all right, we'll keep him around. Then they went like 3-13 the next year and fired him. But
I don't believe at this point there are any current Bears players who are going to go out there and kill themselves to try to save Matt Eberflus's job. No. If anything, I think there's a good amount of people who are going out there not giving 100%, trying to get him out of his job, if you want my honest opinion.
No, I agree. Yeah, I was going to say that, you know, if all this finger pointing and talking, you know, to media guys, you know, anonymously wasn't going on, maybe I would believe that. But I mean, since week 3 and 4, a lot of players have been very openly, honestly talking, which is a very rare thing. And that's fine if you're winning. But when you're losing and you're still talking really open and honest, that only leads one way. That means the locker room fractures, everyone's tired of the coaches, and that's it. I mean, nobody wants to listen to this dude. They're already tuning him out. I mean, like that scene we saw on the sideline with Waldron and Caleb, where Waldron's laughing in Caleb's face, and Caleb's like so annoyed out of his mind.
Like, what are you laughing at, bro? Because I'm not laughing over here.
Dude, and not to keep bringing it up, like, this very much reminded me of the Mark Trestman, Aaron Cromer, Brandon Marshall, Martellus Bennett, like that, all that dysfunction that was going on. That was, it was fun for us to like listen to and hear about, but it's like, as a Bears fan, it's disgusting. And it's like, we're doing this again. It reminds me of that, because that team expectations too, going into the year to make the playoffs.
Dude, exactly. It's going to be a show ahead, man, and there's definitely going to be a lot more happening than what just happened today, I'm sure, in the next week or so. So everybody buckle in. So as much as I'm not looking forward to all these division games coming up for the Bears playing these teams, I am looking forward to seeing my friends on the other teams. NFC North fans are very tight with one another. The Packers, the Bears, the Vikings, Detroit. So we have a ton of friends around the league in our NFC North division. So for tailgating reasons, tailgating purpose, getting together with the fellow super fans from the other teams is always a good time. So to bring one of my buddies on tonight from the Green Bay Packers, you guys have seen him all over TV. He's on TV every game. He is the man dressed as Darth Vader, Mr. Edgar Reyes, Pack Vader. This is how we're starting it, huh? This is
I'm
how
not going to argue. All right, give this guy the boot.
What? I can't hear you. What?
Thanks for allowing me that kind of
It's
introduction. How you guys doing tonight?
We're already down. Don't kick us too hard.
We've been
okay?
better.
I think I know. I got a pretty good idea how are you doing, but that's okay. I figured to be polite and ask you.
We appreciate it. We weren't far enough down the news yet, but yeah.
Good. Thank you for
Edgar, we're
having me
getting
on
ready
the
for
show.
the game on Sunday, and what some people might not know is you are an Illinois native. You are not a Wisconsin native, but being here in Illinois, you chose to be a Packers fan moving here. Why don't we talk about that a little bit, pal?
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, again, thank you for having me on the show. Right now, I'm streaming live from Mexico. I was born and raised in Mexico. How did I become a Packer fan? It's a very simple answer. A little bit long, but I'll try to make it short.
Oh, take your time, man.
Take your time.
Yeah. So, like I said, I was born and raised in Mexico, and I was one of those weird Mexican kid that didn't really follow what we call soccer. Like the regular football all over the world. I grew up, watching what we call American football. Back in the, I would say mid 70s, give or take, like I remember watching Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swann. Most of the time back in those days in Mexico, there was only one game a week. That it was mostly the Sunday night game. And like literally 8 out of 10 times, it was either the Cowboys or the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's where my love for the football came, Now, when I moved to Chicago, give or take 30 years ago, and I also love sports. I grew up playing sports. You name it, I played. And as a person, I hate losing. I cannot stand losing, whether it's an individual sport or on a team sport. I cannot stand losing, but I do give credit where credit is due. That was my motto when I was into sports. I hate losing, but I will give credit to you because you were a better team and you were a better player, and I shut my mouth. When I moved to Chicago, no offense, guys, the only thing I saw in the Bear fans was people who hate the other teams, especially the Packers, and for no reason. There was no reason for, we were better, but not that better and everything. But it was so full of hatred and annoying and disrespectful. And I honestly couldn't see myself as being part of that type of fan base. Again, knowing football and everything, I know that the Bears and the Packers were literally the foundation of the NFL. And I was like, you know what? Green Bay is just down the street. I believe it was a year after the Packers trade for Brett Favre and things were turning around. And I'm like,
isn't that ironic? You become a Packers fan when Brett Favre joins the team.
John Mikowski wasn't
What a weird coincidence there.
Yeah, so that's basically the reason I became a Packer fan. That's part of you. You guys are to blame somehow, but the other side, I was like, okay, let's start a new era with Brett Favre. Why not? And it was very, best decision I ever made.
Now I'm friends with a ton of Packers fans. Hope that doesn't upset people, but I am, and I'm on your guys' pages. So let's just say you guys equally talk a good amount of jive yourself now. Now, I'm not exactly sure what you heard initially that turned you off so much, but
No,
from what I've heard over the years, it's been a pretty mutual back and forth as far as each other's feelings on each other's teams.
Right. No, and that makes sense because I mean we are the longest rivalry in, if I'm not mistaken, in every.
It's the oldest rivalry in the NFL from day one. Yeah.
Not only in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, in the world, like Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Yankees, whatever. You know, I think
it's Israel and Palestine are the two oldest.
I'm just good ad lib, Mike. Good ad lib.
So, but anyway, I don't know, like. I don't know if I agree with your comment because, to be honest with you, and again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No. But what were you hearing from Bears fans? Like, what was like the main theme?
I haven't really experienced a season in which we perform worse than you have. So what I'm trying to say is, if we were performing worse than you guys are, I honestly would say most of the Packers fans will keep their mouth shut and like. You know, whatever. Yeah, you guys are better. End of the story. We would not be talking trash, you know, even though we were worse team than what you are. Now, for the past, 40 years, we outperform you guys, you know, and still we keep hearing, oh, you know, like it's like a cycle. You know, at the beginning of the season, you guys got your Messiah for quarterback and you're going to go to the Super Bowl. Then a quarter through the season, like, well, you know.
We were, Edgar. We were going to go.
and honestly, this is a question that I have for you, you know, like I'm really surprised that you guys are surprised about what's going on right now, because that has been your story for the past 30 years. So
we're not surprised at all. We're more upset with ourselves for buying into it to go into the season thinking it was going to be different. We're not.
We were fooled, Edgar. We were fooled thinking that we were going down a different route than what we've gone down.
It's been the same way, you know, like with Justin Fields. What was the quarterback before him?
Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky. So it's like, oh, we got our quarterback, our Messiah, the savior for the team. Nothing. And it's like, okay, like a good friend of mine said one time, whatever makes you feel happy.
Yeah, man. It's definitely a very abusive relationship being a Bears fan. Ralph, my good buddy Ralph, who's part of First and 10 and one of my best friends, we were talking, we're like, what curse did we put on our children, man? Like, I'm going to go get my kid like a Mahomes jersey for Christmas and be like, go be a winner, son. Like, don't be a Bears fan. It's like, I don't want this life for you. I want you to have a better life than I had. Like, go be another team fan where you get some joy because, man, it's been 40 years of misery for the Chicago Bears, man. And,
well, on a positive
I think
side,
that's where a lot of the disgruntledness that you probably experienced too, like, when you were coming over, man, I mean, you can only get your dick beat in too many times until like you're pissed off. Like, and there's a lot of fans who are.
I honestly feel your pain, guys, you know, and I enjoy it.
But between us, I don't find that.
You don't know nothing about it.
See, I don't find that treatment though between like the super fans. You know, like I consider like you and Frozen Tundra and Packer Mania and like the First and 10 crew, like. We're not like that, but like you're talking about like more like your everyday meatball fan.
Right.
Yeah, no, and I totally get what you're saying, and you're right, dude. There is a lot of like blind hatred for no reason. I mean, I might talk a little shit, you're gonna talk a little shit, but at the end of the day, we laugh it off, we're friends, we have a good time, we root for our teams, and we're all good at the end of the day. But there are definitely some major fan not unity out there, which I absolutely hate. I'm big on fan unity, and with the Bears and Packers, I know it's a hard thing to do, but at the end of the day, you still got to keep your mind straight. You guys still got to be respectful towards the other team, and the Bears Packers series does get a little out of hand with that. So I definitely get what you're saying.
I got a couple of good friends who are like major Bear fans. You know, you probably know about Bear Mysterio, Bear Man. I mean, really, really good friends with those guys. And, you know, honestly, every now and then we stay in touch and they're like, hey, you know, when you're at the bottom, things can only go up, you know. So, but yeah, no, it's a good relationship with some of the fans and super fans. So yeah, I appreciate it. This is a fantastic thing.
Yeah, no, and that's what the show here is about. We're all about big fan unity, man. We love having
Right,
fans down from around
Yeah,
the league.
those fans you're talking about, they're White Sox fans in the offseason. That's the problem.
Okay.
They're very disgruntled people with hard lives. With hard lives. Lots of Miller Lite and lots of manual labor. They're very upset.
Yeah, figures.
No, but in all seriousness, though, going back to when you chose to be a Packers fan, and obviously you made that choice. Packers fan, you obviously joined at the right time. I was joking with you jumping on with Brett Favre, but like, what an absolute best time to move here and choose to be a Packers fan, because you've had 40 years of bliss ever since then. So, but with that being said, I mean, when you became a Packers fan, did it just kind of start off like watching on TV, following the team, following the news, and how did that progress more into where it became today, where season ticket holder, you're traveling for games, you're at every home game going to Green Bay. So how did that transition pretty much happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm not a season holder ticket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I tried to join the list I would say about 10 years, 15 years ago. And after I gave all my information to the lady over the phone, and, like right before I hang up the phone, I asked her, like, hey, just out of curiosity, what's my number? How far I'm on the line? She go like, oh, it's about 115,000 people. I'm like, are you serious? Like, wow, that's ridiculous,
So you don't own the team like the rest of them?
I did purchase like certificate. I do own the team, but I'm not a season ticket holder. How did it progress from being just a regular guy watching the Packers on TV into, a super fan, Pack Vader? It's basically not really a major history behind it. Like you said, I start just like a regular guy, watching the games on TV, following the Packers and everything. Didn't start showing at the stadium until I believe it was January 11 on 2015. That was actually my very first game at Lambeau Field or at any NFL field,
ever. That was your first game ever.
That was my very first game ever, because before
man, so what were the emotions flowing like?
Oh my goodness,
being like older on, and like now you're going to your first NFL game ever, and you've watched it your entire life. Like that had to be pretty emotional.
Yeah, no. Well, think about it. I mean, you're talking to a guy that grew up in Mexico, and just watching the games on TV was a fantastic thing. Let alone being in the actual stadium with all the commotion, the tailgating. I was like, oh my goodness, this is the
kid at Toys R Us, brother.
And you know what? My son was at that game. My son was like,
to make it even more special. The family's involved.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a very. I honestly don't have words to express how excited and
Dad,
happy.
why are you crying? Shut up and get me a beer.
I'm not crying at all. But anyway, before that, I couldn't go to any games because obviously life takes a normal course, going from a single guy to a married guy with 2 kids, a mortgage and everything. Priorities were somewhere else rather than going to, pretty much every game, during the regular season to watch the Packer games. So anyway, the one game that I was talking about, there were some other people dressed up as super fans, and I thought that was the icing on the cake. I mean, the whole commotion was crazy. And then all these people dressing as a super fan, and like, this is fantastic. So eventually I was able to attend to basically every game because I felt in love with that experience. And at one point, my son is actually the one who says like, Dad, if you're going to every game at Lambeau and you said that, running into super fans was something very, very special, why don't you do the same? And then I thought about it like, yeah, why not? If I can make it the experience for someone who's visiting Lambeau for the first time, a better one, why not? And so we start kind of like talking, or, like, what do I want to do? And then funny thing is my son came to me and said, well, like, hey, Dad, and this is, because of my Hispanic background, parents are a little bit more strict and, again, not trying to say anyone is better than the other, but than American parents, but we are more strict. I mean, my dad used to grab the belt and every time I did something wrong, like, boom, baby. So anyway, I didn't do that to my sons because I didn't want to, child family service call on me or anything. But anyway, so like, you're a little bit on the stricter side. He was comparing me to some other parents, and like, you're a little bit on the stricter side, and kind of like a mean parents or something around that line. And like, what? And that was when the newer movies from Star Wars were kind of like on the peak. And like, why don't you become Darth Vader? I'm like, you know what? That's
you come home from work every day, and as you're walking, and he just turns the Emperor's March on. And
he will start whistling, kind of thing, like
the fun police is here, everybody. The fun police is here.
Yeah, everybody stay in line because here comes the
old dad mode. The fun police are wrecking the good time all the time.
Yeah, so basically that's how Pac Vader came to life. He's the one who came out with the idea. So it was a transition. My outfit has been transitioning from little things to bigger things to more professional things, and to a point that it is what it is right now. And then when I go to Lambeau Field, there are so many people that actually say to me, like, I'm killing two birds with one stone, because I'm a super fan of Star Wars, like a major fan of Star Wars, and I'm a super fan of the Green Bay Packers. So when I run into you, it's like perfect. So basically,
complete nerd boner central.
Just how special is Lambeau Field, though? I mean, we think of, like, there's so many sports stadiums are so new nowadays, and they're so slick looking and everything, but there's certain churches for certain sports teams that are just iconic, and Lambeau Field, as a Bears fan, is absolutely one of them. Just how special is it when you just walking up there?
So before you answer, Edgar, I just have a secondary to that question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys not made enough money over the years to get rid of metal bleachers and put real seats in the stadium? So you don't got to freeze your ass like you're at a high school football game? I mean,
you know what? That's a great question, and I asked that before. And like, because as much as I love going to Lambeau Field, I compare Lambeau with other stadiums like Soldier Field, like the Vikings Stadium. I mean, you sit in the front rows, and it's like what they call captain chairs. You're in your seat, and nobody's bothering you. You go to Lambeau Field, and it's like you gotta literally look for your number, and everybody's shoulder to shoulder. It's uncomfortable. I'm not. I agree with that. It's just ridiculous. And one time I asked, I think it was either Jeff Caleb, like Thunderman, or Steve Tate, one of the two. I asked, like, why don't they do? I mean, they do remodeling every year, and then they spend all these millions of dollars and doing things that honestly I don't see how benefits the fans. It's like, why don't they do that also on the front rows? Like, whatever the many rows they want to do it in the front, so people are paying the extra money to be in a comfortable situation. And the reason is because of the whole stadium technically has their like their fans, like the season ticket holders. So if they change the way it is right now, then don't quote me on it, but the capacity will be reduced to, let's say, 20,000 people, less than the bleachers. And what are you going to tell them? Because they already own those seats. So like, oh, guess what? Sorry, your ticket is your seat is no longer available because we reduced. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But the reason why they haven't done it is because of that.
The historical part of everything, kind of like Wrigley Field, it has its like sense of a history behind it. Lambeau Field and Vince Lombardi and all that sort of stuff.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
As an owner, you should say something about those seats, though. I'm saying you should have some.
I thought that's where you were going with it, Mike.
I did, but
regarding those seats.
I did, but I didn't think they listened.
No, I absolutely love, especially like we have a lot of fans who come on the show and who are friends with football fans coming from Mexico, and Bears have their own groups. Chicago Bears fans in Mexico, Oso MX. They're big supporters, dude. Big fans of the show. They follow the pages and everything. I post my show there, give them shout outs all the time. I love them to death. One thing I cannot fathom, though, and maybe being in Mexico, you can give me some insight on this. So they have watch parties of the game in Mexico. And I can't read most of what's on the flyer because I don't speak or understand Spanish. But, dude, they are always at Wingstop. And, like, is Wingstop, like, a huge thing in Mexico? Because, like, Wingstop out here in America, it's kind of like it's like Little Caesars. It's like a little corner place, like
Right.
with some like oven dried wings. Like so, like out there, it seems, is it like a big thing out in Mexico?
Right. See, and if you allow me, before I answer that question,
Yeah, of course.
I forgot to say something to your previous question. You were talking about Lambeau Field.
Take your time.
And honest to God, I'm saying this not as a Packer fan, but as a sport fan.
Yeah.
You know, you can go. Lambeau is among the few places that you can go wearing the team from the opposite team and have a good time. You know, people will respect you and treat you with respect. There will be one or two here and there that will be obnoxious and disrespectful, but for the most part, I'm telling you this to all the fans that are watching, you know, you can go to Lambeau Field, watch a Bears-Packer game, and honestly feel safe, and nobody's gonna honestly be disrespectful in a manner that make you feel uncomfortable or anything. Lambeau Field is honest, and I've been at different stadiums, you know, in the country, and I'm not saying it's the only one, but it's one of the ones that you can honestly go to enjoy your game and have a good time. Now, once
have you been to a Philadelphia Eagles game before?
I will never do that. That will be the one stadium, and it's a sad thing in a sense that, you know, the way I see it is, if you go to a stadium and everybody's Bear fans or everybody's Packer fan, it's going to be a boring game. You know, I mean, and that's basically what happens in Philadelphia, because nobody wants to go to Philadelphia because they're so rude. And I'm not talking just rude as in saying something with a hand gesture or speaking to you. They're physical aggressive. I'm like, you know, I'm not going over there to risk my life or to risk my health over something that it's not worth it. You know, I mean, I love football. I love my Packers, but honestly, my life is more important. My well-being is more important.
Yeah, they think it's cool for some reason. I still understand where they're coming from.
It's ridiculous.
Maybe they never got out of 8th grade over there. I don't know.
And it's got to the point where I can get good cheesesteak in Illinois and Indiana now, so I don't need to go there. What do I need to go there for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't need to go see some cracked bell. I'm good.
Yeah. So now back to your question about the stub wings. Yes, for whatever reason, I mean, it's been quite a few years since the last time I came to Mexico. So I know there's a lot of, you know, fans because that I know, you know, I stay in touch with my family and friends over here, and the fans in Mexico are crazy about football too. As a matter of fact, they're really, really upset because they haven't chosen the Azteca Stadium to hold a game anymore ever since, I don't know, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago when the field was not in proper conditions, and the NFL goes like, no, we're not gonna take a chance on a country that don't care about the stadium or anything. But the fans is everywhere. I mean, it's not just one team though. I mean, it might look like it's only Packer fans, but the Steelers had a major crowd, the Dallas Cowboys, the Chiefs. I mean, I can go on and on, but it is a big thing here in Mexico. And for whatever reason, I guess they put 2 and 2 together, or they kind of like relate football, you know, the NFL with chicken wings, because, you know, those are not necessarily speaking a Mexican thing, but like, oh, that's more like American thing, big event, let's put them together. And that's what, you know, the stub wing, it's kind of like a buffalo wing too, if they have it. I don't know if they have it here in Morelia where I am, but I'm sure they do have it in Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, you know, those big cities. So, but yeah, I'm assuming that's the reason why, you know, it's a big thing with the chicken
wing stuff. Like, okay, Buffalo Wild Wings has America, we're taking over Mexico then.
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, we don't want to.
They're not even competing. They're going to Mexico. That's okay.
Right.
So my friend Juan Oso Salazar, I'm sure you've met Juan before at First and 10. He wants to know, what part of Mexico are you from, Edgar?
Well, I was actually born in the southern state of Chiapas. When I was about 3 or 4 years old, my parents moved to the state of Michoacan, and I grew up in Morelia.
Okay. There you go, Juan. Now you know, sir. Okay. So Edgar,
yes.
Going through all these years now of being a Packers fan, and you've gone from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and now you've struck lightning in a bottle for a third time with Jordan Love. I mean, going back on all your memories of a Packers fan, what's maybe one or two that really stick out to? I'm sure the one Super Bowl you guys got is pretty big for you, but what's some big moments out there for you as being a fan over the years?
Big moments. Well, I can start with the last game at the Milwaukee Stadium where Brett Favre jumped for the last touchdown on the game and win the game. Do you remember that one? So that would be one of them. Obviously, you're gonna love this one. The one where Aaron Rodgers throw kind of like a Hail Mary to Randall Cobb, 4 down and forever. I can remember how many they went through. I think 3-4 downs and so many yards, whatever. And then at the very last drive, the Packers ended up winning the game with their last touchdown from a pass from Aaron Rodgers.
We're very familiar with Hail Marys here.
Yeah, no, I figured, to bring that up. Again, I can remember also very, very happy about the one game against the Bears in which Aaron Rodgers kind of like got injured in his knee, and then he comes back in the second half and literally, won the game, like he put the team on his shoulder. Like, no, I'm not losing to the Bears. So
you got to be more specific. There was a lot of those games.
Yeah.
And we never got hopeful during that first half either. We had feet on the ground, just waiting for the ball to drop. And it did 90% of the time, unfortunately.
What's it called? Hail Mary at the Detroit. That's another one that is fantastic. That's a good one. The one we play also against the Arizona Cardinals, we ended up losing that game on the first play of the overtime. But he threw literally from our end zone. It took him 2 passes to move the ball all the way to the end zone and tie the game. You guys, are you familiar with that game?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So those are kind of the games that I remember the most. On the positive side, on the negative side, it took one game I will never remember, no matter what, is the one game we lost against the Seattle Seahawks in order to go to the Super Bowl. We were, literally 4 minutes before the game, and we blew it completely. It took me 2 weeks to recover for that. But anyway.
So I didn't know if you knew this as being a Packers fan, but Packers Elimination Day in the playoffs is actually the Bears Super Bowl every year. So we get pretty excited about that every year.
Especially when
it's all we have to look forward to, man. Okay, I'm sorry.
I respect that because I feel the same way when you guys are in a position where like the double doink, I was like, yes, but no, it's a mutual feeling, it's a mutual feeling, and I respect that. So no problem with that.
Oh, I still love you, Edgar. You're still the best.
So let me say this, and this is totally gonna clarify my position when the Packers and Bears situation is. I don't care if we lose 14 games in a season as long as we win 2. And against who?
Yeah, Detroit. And that's almost how we feel on the opposite side.
Yeah.
The feeling is definitely mutual there, man.
The feeling is mutual, yeah. Yeah.
You guys totally caught up to us in the overall run of wins, especially the last 10 years. We had a pretty good heavy lead on you there, but then obviously through the late Brett Favre, earlier in Rodgers, and now going into the Jordan Love area, you guys have taken the overall lead. Does anyone know the numbers on the Bears wins?
107.95. That's the record.
107.95. Yeah.
Well,
I remember when you guys took it over. So. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. In the past 40 years, we have won 46 against 13. That's it. That's what happened in the past 40 years. 46 wins for the Packers, 13 wins for the Bears.
And I think about 8 of those are the Lovie Smith era. So that shows you how really bad it's been for the last few years.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it is.
Yeah.
So, Edgar, are you going to be gracing us with your presence on Sunday in Chicago for the Bears game?
Unfortunately,
yeah, you're in Mexico. What the hell am I asking about?
I will not. I will not. See what happened is me and my wife had 2 trips planned for October and November. And the first one, we were going to go to Cabo San Lucas on October, and then and I was going to go to Mexico in October and to Morelia in October, and then Cabo San Lucas late in November. So I would be able to attend the game at Soldier Field. But there were some complications, with my wife's job, and then we had to switch it, and then the days couldn't work out the same way. So I will be here cheering for my beloved Green Bay Packers at the wing place.
The wing stop.
The wing stop.
On every corner in Mexico. Wing
But
stop.
I don't know if there's any advertising here, or anything. So I don't wanna ruin it for you guys. So I'm just gonna say the wing place.
No.
Dude,
we're
saying
we're
like
we're
Wingstop
sponsored
and
by Wingstop and Morrissey, so it's all good.
Okay, all right. So I'll be at Wingstop, cheering for the Green Bay. I got my jersey. I brought my jersey so I can wear it on. I don't know if you can see it in the back.
Oh, you shouldn't have wasted time bringing it. That was a waste.
Yeah, we see it.
That was a waste of space.
Yeah, I've heard that all the time, but it turned out to be a really good thing, though. So,
dude, it's so funny because I always laugh because I always say the equivalent to Wingstop in Mexico is like us going to Little Caesars to watch the game in America. It's like, hey guys, we're going to Little Caesars to watch the game. Come on down. Like,
yeah.
this makes me chuckle every time, man.
I don't know if they have TVs here in Morelia at the Little Caesar or Domino's or whatever. I don't think they do, but anyway. Worst comes to worst, I'll go to a good taco place and and watch the game.
You're winning no matter what, then, my friend. You're winning.
Thank you, appreciate it. If I can say something else, you guys were talking earlier about how bad the Bears are and this and that. And I gotta be honest with you, there's a couple of things that I want to bring up to the show. It's the first one is, like I said, it doesn't matter. Every team when they hit, rock bottom. The only way to go is up. And that's where you guys are right now. So that's a scary thing, because they're like, hey, we suck and we need to do better. And that mentality, when you come to a game, it's a very positive thing. That's on one side on your favor, so I'm not 100% confident that we're going to come to Chicago and beat you guys like straight out of the whatever. And the other thing is, if I'm not mistaken, you might know better than I do, but the Packers normally don't do good after the bye week. So that's another thing that I'm kind of like concerned about it. So just to give you a little faith, those things you want to keep that in mind for the game on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take whatever we can at this point. He's throwing his little treats right now, and I'm going to take them. Okay, I appreciate it, Edgar. Yeah, I think hopefully, and like you said, I mean, rivalry games are huge. The Sox, the Cubs, the Bears, the Packers, the Yankees, the Red Sox. I like to think that no matter what the status of the team is, when the two rival teams get together, it brings out a little extra energy, a little extra from all of them to want to play them. I mean, Montez Sweat, Jalen Johnson, a lot of our big defensive guys going into this year were making comments in the preseason, the offseason about not waiting to play Green Bay this year. So I think there's going to be a good amount of people coming out with some hype for the Bears, especially on the defense end. Mm-hmm. Hopefully our defense end comes out roaring and we can figure out something with this offensive debacle. And dude, win or lose, I like to watch a good football game, dude. And the sad part is the Bears fans have not watched a good football game the last 3 games. And it's been extremely discouraging. So like, I'd rather lose in the last 5 minutes by a field goal or a touchdown than have to deal with what we've dealt with the last couple of weeks here in Arizona at home versus the Patriots. So I just don't want to see you come in our home and smash our dick in like the Patriots just did. So that's my biggest fear for Sunday.
Yeah, like scoring 3 points on the first quarter and nothing throughout the rest of the game. That was ridiculous. I'm sorry, guys, but I have to say it.
Yeah, no, dude, you're 100% right.
We're fucked. We know we're fucked.
We're with you, Sarah. There is no argument coming from us there whatsoever.
We know what bed we're laying in right now. There ain't no fallacies here.
Well, Edgar, we appreciate you coming on the show, man. Like I said, as much as I hate to admit, some of you Packer fans are some of my favorite fans around the league. Love you guys, you, Frozen Chandra, Packer Mania, some of my good guys around the league. So appreciate you taking the time to come on, my friend. Best of luck on Sunday. I'm not sure how much luck you're going to need, but again, I always tell every fan, I say this every week, let's hope for a good game, and best of luck to your team, best of luck to our team, okay?
Right. Thank you so very much, guys. Again, best luck for you too. Hopefully, like you said, all we want is a good football game, where nobody gets hurt.
Who wants to watch a bad football game no matter who wins or loses?
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me.
All right, Edgar, enjoy your trip in Mexico. Make sure to drink too much, pee in the pool, eat the food all day like you're supposed to in Mexico.
Very good.
All right, boss.
We'll do.
Good luck on Sunday.
All right, good night.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, man. See. All right, Max. What the fuck else do we got going on, man? Oh, I want to end with a positive note today because I know there was going to be so much negative talk throughout this damn show. Want to end with a positive note. Before the horrendous event on Sunday that occurred with the Patriots, on Friday I had the opportunity to go on Fox News and was the Fox Bears fan of the week. Kind of a prelude to a slaughter, unfortunately. Would have rather been the fan of the week leading into a more promising game on Sunday. But all in all, it was absolutely amazing. Got to be on Fox. My wife was involved. Got to talk about fandom, all the work, everything we've been doing here. Family. It was just very heartfelt. So if you guys missed it, here it is.
And each week we always celebrate a Bears superfan, and Mike Bosno has no choice but to be a Bears fan.
That's right. He was born a Bears fan, and now he's part of a tailgating group, is involved with elite superfans, and has his own Bears-based podcast called First and 10 with Foz. So let's start with the podcast. Mike, tell us all about it.
So it's a fan podcast. We don't typically just talk about news and stats. One thing that really sets us out, I bring super fans from the opposing team that were playing onto the podcast, and we interview them, talk about their background. A lot of them have such great stories about charities and how they became super fans. I mean, I think a lot of people see us dressed up and like, look at those crazy people out there. But
You're not crazy here.
yeah, exactly. But everyone has such a great story, and some of the reasons people do this stuff is just amazing.
Now, you've also, we understand that you've kind of developed a relationship with some former Bears players. How were you able to do that?
Yeah, just through social media, to be honest with you. I run a Facebook page with my friend Alberto Valdez called Chicago Bears Fans Forever, and we have 160,000 followers, 18 million in traffic a month. So we reach out to former players and try to get them on the podcast. And I've hooked up with Jim McMahon. I've hooked up with Misty McMichael, Mongo's wife. I've hooked up with Dan Hampton. So it's been really cool.
All the classics.
Great, yeah, and your wife nominated you for the Fox 32
Thank you, baby. I love you.
Fan. So, and she said you've been a super fan since birth. So was it your mom or dad who was a fan?
So I was told that I was 2 years old in my high chair watching the '85 Bears Super Bowl. But every Sunday in my house, the Bears are always on growing up, and getting into the early 2000s with Brian Urlacher and Peanut Tillman and Lance Briggs and all them, just kind of took it to that next level and made me that super fan.
Now, looking at your gear here, your wife tells us that 90% of everything you wear is Bears gear. How does that go down? How do you get away with that?
She is so supportive. I love her so much. She's wearing so much Bear gear too, so that's what also makes it so special. It's a whole family thing, me and my wife, my 3 sons, so keeping family close to the heart.
Okay, so church on Sunday or Easter dinner, we wearing Bears gear?
100%.
Okay. You got to pray for the team sometimes, Mike.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And then how do you think the season's going so far?
You know, it's not everything we hoped it would be. The last 2 games have been pretty rough. Like Lou was talking about before I came on, we got a tough schedule ahead of us. So definitely need to get that win on Sunday versus the Patriots. So we got all division games coming up. So most important time of the year.
And you see you brought your wife in as well.
Yeah,
She's got the really great jean jacket, but you know a little something about that.
I know. I was like, now I have jean jacket envy.
Well, I get one too.
I have one actually. I'm going to have to show it to you. I haven't worn it in a while because it's been kind of chilly out here.
I'll have to get some patches for you then too.
I do need some special
patches.
You
got patches coming your way now.
That?
I can hook you up for sure.
All right.
Mike, where can people find you?
Facebook, First and 10 with Foz. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. First and 10, FOZ. You can't miss me.
Appreciate you guys for being here this morning.
You guys are the cutest couple ever.
Stop
oh my
Love
gosh.
that you're committed. This is great. Oh, this is great.
You're so delightful.
So that was a really great moment. Definitely thanks to Fox for having me on, and my wife being on the show definitely was not a plan whatsoever, and she kind of got brought on last moment and was a little nervous, but she pulled through, and it was exactly a great time that we all had. So appreciate everyone with the messages, the support, everything you guys did just made it even more special. So next week we'll be breaking down the Packers and the Bears game. Hopefully it's not as aggravating and as heartbreaking as this week was. We'll be getting ready for the Vikings matchup, our next home game versus the Vikings, another interdivisional matchup. We'll be having my guy, Sir Boots on, Mr. Austin White. He's my illegitimate son from Minnesota. You guys are going to see what I'm talking about next week. He's my little illegitimate son who travels the country watching Vikings games. So it's going to be a good time. As always, guys, we appreciate you sticking with us. It's been 3 years of rough games, and the fact that the podcast has grown and you guys watch and we get more and more viewers and more followers. You guys must love to be tortured like we do then. So we appreciate your love of being abused like we do too. So hopefully the abuse is going to end though next week, and hopefully we get back on the right track. Right, Maxwell? I agree. Yeah, we appreciate it because it's probably the only thing that actually keeps our left foot in front of our right foot doing the show. Yeah, so. I could definitely tell you it is not easy coming on here. No. After games like how Sunday was. So we definitely appreciate you guys. You guys are the absolute best. Hopefully we have a better outcome than we did last week, and turns out a lot better than Sunday's game, and we just don't kick a field goal and then punt the entire time. So but as always, we appreciate you guys and love you, and you know how we end it as always, bear down, baby.
Thank you, and go Bears!
Bear down!
From Harrison and Wabash we rise, tailgating with excitement under the skies. The Foz is leading the way with Billy from the van, rapping jazz, dancing to the Chicago plan. Surrender man goes is feeling the beat. Our baby bear and mama bear never defeat. Deaf, bear, and also roaring loud, and the stereo looking among the crowd. The Hallis Tower, a symbol of might. Chicago handshake under the night. What is your profession? We ask. Legends of the game, a formidable task. Devin has the speed, behold. Mongo and Datum will never fold. Sweetness and Peter, heart of steel. Did Butters and Mike Dicker the real deal.